Hi everybody, and welcome to part 3 of my tutorial on how to extract GPS data from your GoPro video and combine it with Google Earth Pro and make a Google Earth fly-through that tracks the position of your camera while you are making a time warp video or whatever you're doing with your GoPro camera. So in this part, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to edit the video that you made with your camera and the Google Earth video that you created, and combine those two together into one video. In order to do that, you need to have some type of video editing software, and so I was looking for a free one that looked like it would do the job, and one that I found was VSDC free video editor, which worked for me. And you can pay $20 and get some more advanced features, but for this video, I was able to use the free one, and it worked just fine. So, so what you do is you go to this website, which is videosoftdev.com/free video editor /download, and then you click the download video editor, either the X64, X32 version, and now I guess apparently there's a new version that just came out, but I haven't installed that yet, so I'm doing this one with the previous version. So anyway, you just download the installer and go ahead and double click it and install it, and then that will your shortcut to your program will be on your desktop. So once you have installed the program and you've got your shortcut on your desktop, go ahead and double click it, and this will open up your program. Now what I've done is I've already kind of set it up a little bit so that I can see a few things on the program, but we'll just go ahead here. And so, okay, so it should open up like this, and so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go import content, so click that, and then so I have two videos. I've got my file that came from the camera and the file that I recorded from Google Earth, which you can see in the second part of the tutorial, and if you click subscribe, you can look at all three parts. You can find the first part that shows how I recorded the whole thing. So anyhow, so the first thing I want to do is I tried clicking both of these to try to import them both at once, but it looks like you have to do it individually. So I'm going to go ahead and click that one, and I'm just going to change the project title to Google Earth Test and click Finish. Now once I did that, okay, so I've got my Google Earth recording. Now I need to add the other video, so I'm going to go up here where it says click Add Objects, and also if you look under View here, I've got Objects Tools, Layout Tools, Zoom Tools, Object Explorer, and Project Explorer all open. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and add my second video, so I'm going to click Editor tab, and then click Add Object and click Video, and the one I don't have yet is Test File Path, so I'm going to go ahead and click that. And it says from cursor position, so that's at the very beginning there, so that's what I want. Okay, so now so I've got my test file path video, but it came in upside down because I had my camera mounted upside down, and so first of all, we need to fix this. So up here there's a little tool, and what I want to do is I want to flip it vertically, but it's not only upside down, but it's also flipped horizontally. So I'm going to flip it horizontally. So this actually is the correct way now, so that when I move through the timeline here, if I can find some text somewhere, there's some text that shows you can read it correctly. It's not upside down or backwards. So now that we have both video files in here, what we need to do is I've got my project set to 1920 by 1080, and so I'm not going to do this in 4K, although you could. So I've got two videos here. So this one here is the one that's called Test File Path, and this one down here is the one that is my Google Earth video. Now what I want is I don't want this video, the test file path, to be full screen, so I'm going to hold on the corner, and I'm going to scale it. Now you don't have to hold shift down or anything. It will just scale automatically. It retains its 16 by 9 scale, and so I'm just going to reduce it down a little bit here. And then with the other video, I want that one to also be scaled, and so I'm going to go ahead and scale that one down too, and I'm going to move it over here. Now if I anything that goes outside of this black window here is going to get chopped out of the video, so I'm not going to, don't have to worry about cropping it or anything. Okay, so now that I have my videos, scaled, let's say that, okay, I've got two videos here. If I click on this one, that's test file path. If I click on this one, that's this other one here. But let's say I wanted this one to be on top. I didn't want, the corner of this chopped off by the other video. Now down at, even though this video is underneath the other one in the picture, on the timeline this video is above the other one. So what I want to do is I want to change the position of these two. So if I click here, if I click, I want it to go down one, you can see that nothing happens. Because, well, for some reason or other, these arrows are referring to the position in the actual picture. So if I click on the up, okay, then it switches it and it puts this one on top. So these arrows are referring to the overlapping in the picture. Okay, so actually this is the way I want it. I want this one to be on top, and I want this one to be on the bottom, but I want to be able to see that little blue arrow in there that shows my actual path there. So I'm going to enlarge it. That blue arrow will pretty much stay in the same position. The map will move around, but the arrow will stay right about where it is. So like if I click further in the timeline here somewhere, you can see that the arrow is still right in the same spot. I'll click again here, and just to show you that so the arrow stays where it is. So that's fine. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go back to the beginning, and so then what I have to do is I have to sync up the two timelines. Like, so you can see that this one, if I click it, is 1 minute and 0.225 seconds, and this one is 1 minute 19.644 seconds. So this one is a little bit longer, even though they both were started at the same time. And So there's a couple reasons for that, because of frame rate and the recording rate and everything else. So anyway, what I have to do is I have to get them synced up. And the other thing is that in this video, I stopped at a few stoplights here and there, and so when I stopped at stoplights, that stopped the track temporarily, and I want to cut out those stops. I just want to have it continuously moving. So the next step, what we're going to do is we're going to sync up the video. Okay, so what I'm going to do, just to make it a little bit quicker here, I'm going to turn this layer off just so that I can just concentrate on this layer here. And I want to be able to see what I'm doing here. And so what I'm going to do, and also this little thing, I can stretch my timeline out so that I can see a little bit more detail and have a little bit more control over where I'm looking at here. So first of all, I'm just going to kind of scan through here, and if I move, so I can here it's showing one frame at a time here. So like if I start at the very beginning, let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to start when I first start to move here. So all right, so let's just say right there. Okay, so now down here, what I want to do with this frame is I want to split that frame, split this video track, and chop off that first part right there. So up here, there's a little scissors here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click those scissors, and okay. So now what that did is it split the video track, and this part, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more here. Alrighty. So this part, I don't want that part, so I'm just going to delete that. And actually, I'm going to have the video start from there. So I'm going to go back to the beginning here and move that to the beginning. Okay, so now if I go up here, I can click to the next frame. So now right off the bat, we're moving, okay? And that's what I want. So, okay, so then let's get this one going here. And I want to find when it first starts to move. So let's take a look at this and see. So right off the bat, it doesn't do much of anything there. So let's keep looking to when we just go one frame at a time here, and sooner or later it's going to start moving here. So here I'm just going to kind of scan it here and find where does it start to move here. So moving along here. Okay, whoop. Alright, so it looks like it kind of starts right about there. So let's see, let's click it okay, right about there. That's where it starts to move. So, alright, so this layer, then I'm going to split that one. And I don't need this part, so I'm going to delete that. Whoops. Alright, let's go back to where we were there. And alright, so I had them both selected. I'm just going to select that part and delete that. Okay, so now we can go back to the beginning, and we can go back to this. So okay, so now they both start moving at the same time. And I'll turn this on, and we can move that. And this one here, I'm going to go ahead and move that to kind of where I had it. I want to try to keep that blue arrow within the square there, so that make sure that it gets recorded. And this one is on top, which is what I want. And maybe I'll scale it down. Oops, scale it down just a little bit here. All right. So, okay. So now it's scaled. And what I'm going to do is this one here, I can move it to the 1 second at a time. So I'm going to go 1 second and one more second. And okay. Now here, this one is already out onto the road, but this one is still, it's not out to the road yet there. So what I have to do is, what I'll do is I'll find, okay, I'm going to just turn this one off here. I'm going to find where that little blue thing gets out to the road there. So I'm just going to click this and click it one more time. Okay, so let's go one frame at a time here. All right, right there. Okay, right there is where it gets out to the road. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this track one more time. I'm going to click the little scissors, which are editor tools, and I'm going to click that. Okay, so now that's out to the road. Now this one, I have to, let's see, let me turn those two off. And on this track, okay, so it's already at the road, but let's just go back to where it, okay, so we're going out, and okay, right here is where it gets out to the road. So I'm going to take that track, oops, that track, and I'm going to split that track. All right, so, okay, now we've got, okay, this track and this track. I'm going to move over because I want to hold off on those and don't do anything with it. Okay, so now these two tracks are synced up. They start right in the parking lot. Let me turn that on. And then this one ends up out at the road right there, and this one is out at the road. But as you can see down here, this one this one's only 1.1 second, and this one is, let's get the 1.19. So anyway, what we want to do is, if we look over here, okay, that's the whole file, but this one section, we want to look at the two sections here. So this part, when it's clicked, we can see that it's 4.866 seconds, and this one is 5.7 seconds. So we want to make those two the same length. So to change that, what we're going to want to do is we want to speed this up a little bit. So if we look over here in the properties window, and I'm going to scroll down here, and down here it says speed. Okay, so if I click the video is 5.7 seconds, but I want it to be 4.86 seconds. So if I look at the scroll down here, if I look at the speed and the percentage, I want to increase that. So I'm going to click that, and so as I click it, you can see up here this number here, 5.566, it gets smaller. So as I go faster speed, that number gets smaller. So I'm going to keep going until it gets to 4. Okay, so right there, now it's at 4.833, and this one is at 4.866. So that is about as close as I can get to it, because if I change the speed to 117, it's 4.9, and that's 4.833. So I don't think you can go in fractions. You can only go whole numbers there. So okay, so that's going to be about as close as I can get. So all right, so now if we go to the out point of this one here, we can see that, okay, they both start at the same place and they both end at approximately the same place. Okay, now what I could do actually is I can go back one frame. And let's go, okay, this top one is 145 frames. The bottom one is 146 frames. So if I chop one frame off of this, then they'll both be the same number of frames. So so let's do that. So let's see, we're at right there. So let's go back one frame, and we're going to split it, or actually, yeah, let's just split it. All right. So I have a one frame piece there that I don't want. All right. So I'm going to take that little piece and find it in here. There it is right there. And I'm going to delete it. Okay. So now they're both 145 frames. Okay. And let's just double check and make sure that that's right. Okay, that's 145 frames, and oh, well, it's 144 frames. All right, so let's see. I guess I can do it this way. Oops. Oh, okay. All right. Well, we can do it this way then. We can just drag it and cut it. Okay, 149. Actually, we can probably just type it 145. There we go. Okay. So now we know. All right. So that's 145. That's 145. Okay. So they're both 145 now. All right. So I'm kind of learning this myself. I tried a couple different things here. So all right. So now we're going to go back to the beginning, and we want this to be at the very beginning. So they both start at the same place, and we're going to go to the out point, and they both end at the same place. Okay, and there we go. All right, good. So they both start there, and they both end at the same place. Okay, now that we've got that, what we want to do is we want to get our next shot. So now, if we start moving here and looking at this next video clip, oops, we got to turn on. This turns on the visibility of the clip there. So if we start looking at that, this is where I was at a stoplight, and I was waiting for the light to turn green. So there's a bunch of stuff. Okay, so there's several frames there where it's not really doing anything. So I'm going to chop those out, and so I'm going to click on this this frame there, and I'm going to go ahead and split that. And okay, and then I don't want this part because it's just sitting at a stoplight, and I don't really want to see all that. So now I've chopped out the stoplight, and I'm going to go ahead and move that. Now you'll notice that when it hits the end, when it hits the beginning, the end of a clip, that you might see it kind of pause a little bit there, which but you can double check here. So I'm going to. So okay, so here's this one. Now I'm going to just go and double check, and we're going to make sure that. Okay, so right there is where the other clip should start. So I'm just going to move that over until I see it. No, it's not there. There it is right there. So, all right, so now if I go back a frame, okay, so there it is, and there's the next frame. So we know there's no jump in the video. They're right where they should be. All right, and now, okay, so once you get your video all cut and everything the way you want it, and your tracks both are in sync and everything, then what you want to do is you want to export it out. Now for me, I'm exporting it out to YouTube. And to do that, there's some choices here on the left that it's going to give you, like you could have it export out to the PC or to the web, but I want to export it out to the web. And when you click that, it will give you export project for YouTube. So this will automatically set your settings to the best setting for YouTube, so for uploading. So then I just come over here, I'll click export project, and so then we just let that go, and it's going to export it out, and down here the output file is going to be, in my particular computer, is going to put it in my users videos folder. And so this shows what the video is going to look like. Now if it looks, you know, if like in this case here, maybe I had my top video too big, and so I would have to go back and fix that on all the layers, but I'll just go ahead and let this go, and once it's all done, you can play it back, you can take a look at it. If you like it, go ahead and upload it. If you don't like it, go back and fix it, and you should have your finished video. So I hope you liked this video, and if you did, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and I'll be making more videos on how to use your GoPro and some of the software that you can edit with. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.